Seattle rain drizzled steadily outside the large windows of the Harbor View Medical Center. Inside, Nurse Emily Carter adjusted the color of her scrubs and took a deep breath before stepping into the ICU. The scent of antiseptic, the quiet hum of machines, and the occasional shuffle of feet greeted her like a cold but familiar welcome. Itwaer first day at ti hospital, fresh start afte a pas fulbrecupand living Chicago Bain. Shewa ijeto divinto work, buri herself in long shift. And keeper irt safli lo cadawe. Tatoi tes plans. Nurse Carter, cal de docteur Olivia Mande, Atal, composed woman 8 intelligentei. Usalel BT King Overum 509, Jam Black. Coma patient. Binaire affumante. Stable but responsive. Vital argud. Buno signe off waking yet. Emily no dead. Any family visi? Ismote comes be often. Chest protective. Juste bekind. Patient. En de document everything. A Emily entraide room 509. Te world simed to still. Terre. Connected to IVS on monitor. Léament initier literty. His face was strong yet peaceful. Chest rising and falling with machine supported breath. Short brown hair. Light stubble. Scar on disarm. Buter was something abou him en ode, qui est gravity tapul date Emily et sa tension. Chez glanced à tété char. Jamie Black. 32. Formé firefighter. Injuré during a building collapse. Traumatique brun injury. Emily pulled up a chair buzzed I bed and smiled faintly. Well, Jamie. Look like I am your new nurse. ILLB wig hello, et so you don't mean me talking. She checked his Eveline, noted his vital, adjusted his blanket. You've been asleep a long time. She continued, her voice soft. Bu just in case quand irme. ILLB talking to you anyway. Or you don't mind. Outside. Terrain fellardé. Inside, Jamie les cils, bu something about a way and twitched and tes blanket mad Emily pose. What it just reflex? Over the next few week, Emily et shift became centred around room 509. She read to Jamie from old Firefighter magazine, played soft jazz from her phone, even told him about her life, her love for painting, her fell d'engagement, her favorite place in Chicago. She found comfort in his silence. Somehow, it felt safe. On a night, she brought in a small book of poetry. I don't know if poetry is your thing, Jamie, she said, settling in beside him. But I think you'd appreciate Tion. She read a pièce à beau courage. Loss, and dealing. When she finished, her eye welled up, and she wiped them quickly. You saved people, she whispered. You risked your life. And no Eurostocker. It is no fair. The machine beeped steadily in the background. Jamie remained still. But in Emily sirt, something stirred, something more than just empathy. It felt like attachment. On afternoon, as she entered the room, she was surprised to see an old woman already sitting by Jamie's side. Her hands were folded tightly in her lap, and her expression was unreadable. Mistress Black, Emily asked gently. The woman looked up sharply. I must be the new nurse. Yes, I am Emily Carter. Karen Black nodded. Then looked back at her son. You used to be so full of life. Always helping people. He wouldn't sit still for 5 minutes. And no. Emily sat beside her. Et still l'air. And were doing everything we can. Karen gave her a worry look. Il font a lot of time with him. Don't Emily smiled. Unsure. Yes. He talked to him. Read. It is part of the car plan. Familiar voice can sometimes help bring people back. Karen nodded slowly. Just don't get too close, dear, Igako trilinoim. That night, Emily starred at ete selling in her apartment. Karen is word echoed in her mind. Don't jet to close. But if it were ready to let? On rainy morning, Emily noticed a journal tucked away in the drawer beside Jamie's bed. It must have been something his family brought. She hesitated, then opened it. The pages were filled with scribbled thought, story, dream. Jamie had written about the people et des saved, the fear et des foot, the fear et never showed. There were passages about et the always wanted to cite Oregon Coast. Not to himself. List of song et loved. And on particular entry co Herbret. Sometimes he wondered what would happen if he stopped running. If he just sat still. Let someone in. But I guess he am too afraid of being broken in front of someone who him. Emily closed the book, et misty. Timon, Tissil, sleeping stranger, felt more real to her than most people who were wide awake. That evening, as she prepared to leave the room, Emily paused at the door and turned back. I don't know me, Jamie. But you wake up. No just for your family. But for you. For all the things you wrote about. Tes cost. Tes songs. Tes second chance. She stepped out into the hallway. Her TV and full at the same time. Behind there, in room 509, a monitor flickered, and for just a second, Jamie's fingé mauvais. A week a dépassé 5 Emily a found Jamie's journal, and it hadn't left her tout since. During her lunch break, she sometimes reread certain entries, a to trying to understand the men behind the uniform, the firefighter who had reins into flame when other ran away. People think bravery is about no scared, on entry red, but form is about doing the right thing even when you're scared. Especially then. Emily was drawn to those words. She kept imagining what Jamie's voice might sound like if he read them aloud. In the key of room 509, she read the entry to him herself. Outside the hospital, life moved quickly. Inside Jamie's room, Tim felt suspended. Emily began to recognize pattern in his movement. His fingers occasionally twitched. His eyelid fluttered when she played a certain jazz track. Most nurses shulked it up to normal reflex activity. But Emily believed there was something more. Jamie, she said softly one evening, brushing a damp cloth over his forehead, if you're in there. If you can't hear me. Just know you're no alone. Ici YO. Chez lingerie sid longé tant usual, errand gently wrapped around this. Suddenly, a fin movement. No just a twitch, but a squeeze. Air breath co. Jamie? She whispered, eye wide. She leaned closer, watching him intently. But moment passé. His hand relaxed again. Still, something inside her shifted.
At the nurse's station, Emily told Dr. Mendes about what she'd experienced. It could be voluntary, Dr. Mendes said thoughtfully, or it could be spinal reflex. I'll order another neuro eval. But Emily, yes, don't get your hopes too high. It's not uncommon for caregivers to want to see signs. I just don't want you to be hurt if it's nothing. Emily nodded. I understand, but she did hope. In fact, she hoped more than ever. The next morning, Emily entered room 509 to find someone already there. A tall man in a fire department hoodie stood by Jamie's bedside, his head bowed in silence. He turned as she approached. "Oh, hi," he said, offering a polite smile. "You must be the nurse." "I'm Emily," she said. "You're Tyler Quinn. I was Jamie's partner. On the engine. We've been friends since academy." Emily reached out to shake his hand. "I've heard a lot about you from his journal." Tyler raised a brow. "You've read it? I found it in his drawer. I hope that's okay. I just wanted to know who he was." He nodded, a little surprised but not upset. Jamie always carried that thing around. called it his emergency mental storage. He'd scribble in it after every shift. Emily smiled. It's helped me understand him, even while he's sleeping? Tyler said gently. Yeah. Tyler studied her. You care about him, don't you? Emily flushed. I'm his nurse. I care about all my patients. Maybe. But I can tell when someone talks like they mean it. Emily looked down, unsure how to respond. Tyler didn't press. He's stubborn. Tyler added. If anyone can come back from this, it's him. Later that day, Karen Blake returned. Her presence was always a little cold, but today she seemed particularly tense. You've been spending a lot of time here, she said quietly, not meeting Emily's eyes. Emily nodded. Yes, I care about his recovery. Karen crossed her arms. And only his recovery, I hope. Emily paused. Mrs. Blake, I assure you, my feelings don't interfere with my professionalism. The older woman's expression softened just slightly. I just don't want anyone getting attached to a ghost. I've already lost my son once. I don't want to lose him again to some fantasy. He's not a ghost, Emily said gently. He's still here. And I know he's fighting. Karen's eyes moistened, and she turned away. I hope you're right. That night, Emily sat by Jamie's side and played one of the songs from his journal, Harvest Moon by Neil Young. She let it play softly as she held his hand. I don't know why you wrote this song down, she whispered, but it's beautiful. As the chorus played, Jamie's lips twitched. Not much, but just enough for Emily to notice. She leaned closer, his brow furrowed, briefly. Jamie? She gasped, checking his vitals. Everything was stable, but the muscle movements were subtle, real. She pressed the call button, and within moments, Dr. Mendes arrived. What happened? I saw his brow move. And earlier, he squeezed my hand. Dr. Mendes leaned over the bed, checking Jamie's pupils with a penlight. We'll run a response test in the morning. Keep documenting everything. As Dr. Mendes left, Emily turned back to Jamie and whispered, If you're trying to come back, I'm here. I'll wait. Over the next few days, more small signs emerged. Jamie's eyes fluttered longer. His fingers curled in response to voice. When Tyler visited and told a funny story about Jamie once rescuing a cat that scratched his face, a faint grin twitched on Jamie's lips. I swear he smiled. Tyler said, wide-eyed. I saw it too, Emily said, her voice trembling. By the weekend, the staff officially documented Jamie as transitioning from a deep coma to a minimally conscious state. The news spread quickly among the ICU team. But for Emily, it was more than medical progress. It was a miracle. One evening, she sat alone with Jamie again. Rain tapped against the windows. The room was dim, and only the soft hum of machines filled the silence. She took out his journal. I hope you don't mind that I've been reading this. It's become a part of my daily routine. She flipped to a blank page and pulled out a pen. I think you'd want someone to keep writing in it. She began to write. Jamie, I don't know what you're dreaming about right now. Maybe you're lost somewhere inside your mind, stuck between here and there. But I'm here. I see you. And I believe you'll find your way back. I don't know what this is, this connection I feel. But it's real. And I'm not walking away. Emily. She closed the book and placed it back in the drawer. As she stood to leave, she looked back at him. Come back to us, Jamie. And just as she reached the door, a voice behind her, hoarse and barely audible, whispered, Emily. She froze, turned slowly. Jamie's eyes were open. Emily turned, hardly daring to believe what she'd heard. Jamie's lips moved again. Emily, he rasped, barely above a whisper. Her eyes widened, tears instantly springing to them. Jamie? Jamie. You're awake. She rushed to his side, her heart hammering. Jamie blinked slowly, his gaze unfocused, but his eyes, those stormy gray eyes, found hers. Where am I? You're in the hospital, she said gently, pressing the call button. You've been in a coma for months. He tried to speak again, but coughed. She poured water and gently helped him sip. Doctors and nurses rushed in, voices hushed but urgent. Emily stepped back, giving them space, but her eyes never left Jamie's. As they examined him, Dr. Mendes asked, Jamie, can you tell me your full name? He closed his eyes, concentrating. James Blake. And today's date? He hesitated. No idea. That's okay, Dr. Maines reassured. You've done incredibly well. You're waking up. Emily stood outside the room as tests continued, her heart a swirl of hope, relief, and disbelief. When Karen Blake arrived later, Emily stepped aside to let her see her son. Karen's sobs echoed down the hallway as she cradled Jamie's hand. My boy, you came back. When Emily finally returned to see him, Jamie turned to her, his voice stronger. You've been here all this time? She smiled, nodding. Every day. You read to me. You remember that? Some of it. It's like pieces of a dream. But your voice, it was always there. Her eyes filled again. You weren't alone, Jamie. Not for a second. Jamie's recovery was slow but promising. Physical therapy, speech therapy, and cognitive assessments filled his days. But what never changed was Emily's presence. One afternoon in the rehab unit, Jamie watched as Emily painted during her break in the staff garden. It was a soft sunset piece, warm oranges and purples blending together. You're an artist, he said, rolling up in a wheelchair. She looked up, surprised. You're not supposed to be out here alone. Rebel firefighter, remember? She laughed and offered him a brush. Want to help? He dipped it in blue and added a streak across the bottom. That's the ocean. I want to see it one day. She smiled. The Oregon coast, right? His eyes widened. You read my journal. I hope that's okay. He nodded. If anyone had to read it, I'm glad it was you. They painted in silence, the tension between them thick but unspoken. Weeks turned into a month. Jamie's progress stunned the staff. Emily continued to support him, but as he grew stronger, her role as his nurse was reduced. One evening, as they sat beneath the trees outside the hospital, Jamie turned to her. I've been thinking about something. I want to ask you something, but I don't know if I should. Emily looked at him, her pulse quickening. Ask me. Would you ever consider seeing me? Outside of this place? Her breath caught. Jamie, I know this started in a hospital bed. I know I was asleep, but I felt you. Every word, every touch it, kept me here. I felt something too, she admitted. But I didn't want to cross that line. Maybe we draw a new line, he said softly. She took his hand. When you're discharged and no longer my patient, ask me again. He smiled. Deal. Jamie was released from the hospital 3 months after he first woke up. The day he left, the ICU nurses cheered and clapped, tears and joy filling the air. Emily didn't work that shift. She had taken the day off on purpose. But that evening, her doorbell rang. She opened the door to find Jamie, standing, a bit wobbly but upright, holding a bouquet of wildflowers. Hey, he said. Hi, she whispered, stunned. You told me to ask when I wasn't your patient anymore. She grinned, tears forming. I did. He offered the flowers. So, would you go out with me? She took them, nodding. Yes. Their first date was simple. Dinner at a quiet Italian restaurant, followed by a walk along the pier. Jamie talked about his dreams, returning to firefighting in a limited capacity, mentoring younger recruits, writing a book. Emily shared her plans to start an art therapy group at the hospital. I think we're both getting second chances, she said. And I'm not wasting mine, Jamie replied. He reached for her hand, and under the starlit sky, they shared their first kiss. 1 year later, they stood on a cliffside overlooking the Oregon coast. Jamie wrapped his arm around Emily as the waves crashed below. You brought me back, he said. She leaned her head against his shoulder. No, we brought each other back. He pulled a small velvet box from his pocket. Emily Carter, will you keep waking up beside me for the rest of our lives? Tears streamed down her cheeks as she nodded. Yes, always yes. And with the sea whispering below and the sky stretching wide above, 2 hearts, once broken and lost, found home in each other.